Bill Cosby, everybody's favorite dad. Well, used to be. He has a lot of allegations against him, and you actually represent a few women who say they've been raped, correct? Okay, by Bill Cosby. What can you tell us about what's going on with that whole situation? Because there's a lot of things out there in the media. You know, you can't believe everything.
That's true.
So what can you tell us as far as the case is concerned?
Well, first of all, we know that there are over 24 women now who accuse Dr. Cosby of drugging and sexually assaulting them. So either 24 women from all over the country of diverse backgrounds who didn't know each other are somehow conspiring together to ruin him, or he's a serial sexual predator. I mean, I think those are really the only two choices.
Yeah, you know, sometimes celebrities are targets.
Yeah,
They're
but of this number of people, I think if there was one accuser, if there were two accusers, maybe three accusers, we would all think that. But when there are this many, and most of them are not asking for anything. Now, let me tell you about, I represent Janice Dickinson, the world's first supermodel, reality show star, a woman who's had a long, impressive career. And she told people many, many years ago that Bill Cosby drugged and raped her. She tried to put it in a book in 2002, and her publisher and her ghostwriter said, "You can't put that in, you know, Dr. Cosby will sue us." They've now given me statements under oath that they remember that's what happened. She told them in 2002, before any of the other women came out publicly. I represent another woman who alleges that in the early 1980s, Dr. Cosby assaulted her as well, and she has never forgotten it. She's been in fear all of these years as a result.
Why now? Why is everybody coming? That's the biggest question. Why is everybody coming out now? And now everybody's coming out of the woodworks. Is it because one person kind of gave the others confidence to speak up, or just why now?
I think that's part of it. I also think that some of the women have seen how the others were treated in the media. For example, my client Janice Dickinson was called a liar by Bill Cosby's attorneys. They came out and said she's lying. And that, I think, enraged some other women who had been through the same experience. And, you know, as women, there's a thing where we don't want to speak out for ourselves, but we'll speak out to protect somebody else. We'll speak out to protect a sister. And I think Beverly Johnson, for example, the first black woman on the cover of Vogue, she came out, she said, to support the other women. For a long time, she said she kept it to herself. She didn't want to talk about it. She didn't want to bring down Bill Cosby. But when she saw the other women being slammed in the media, she said, that's it. I'm going to talk about what happened to me.
Is there any similarities to their stories to kind of like validate that they're telling the truth? You know, is there anything, any holes in the stories like, well, maybe she's not being totally accurate?
Well, I can't speak to all of them. But I can tell you, as to my clients, we've gone over their stories very, very carefully and matched it up to facts that you can ascertain, you know, floor plan of a room, of a building, for example, where they say something happened. And, you know, what's remarkable is that in most cases, he's not denying it. He's not saying it didn't happen. He calls on the press to look carefully into their backgrounds, things like that. But I think most people think that when you're talking about just common sense, when there's this many women who have such similar stories. And by the way, Bill Cosby himself has said a number of times that he used to make jokes in his routine about drugging women so that you could get with them. He used to talk about Spanish fly, which was, I guess, in the 70s, you know, ha, 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 you give a woman Spanish fly and then you can do whatever you want with her, ha, ha, ha. He made a joke recently, just a couple of weeks ago, in one of his shows. A woman got up to walk away and he said, "Where are you going?" And she said, "I'm going to get a drink." And he said, "You better not get a drink around me, ha, ha, ha." So I think that shows a real arrogance.
Yeah, he did that after he was been accused?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago. Yeah. And I think that's really a slap in the face to all of the women who are coming forward. As I said, most of them not asking for anything and just saying, this is what happened to me. I think that women understand, too, that when you're in your 20s, it's very hard to talk about things like this, especially against a man as powerful as Bill Cosby. You get into your 50s and 60s, we get a little more radicalized, we get a little bit more sure of ourselves, and we're more able to say, look, this is what happened to me and I'm not ashamed. And that's what I see the Cosby accusers doing.